In the world of global tech, most conferences are, well, they're pretty forgettable. But every now and then, a single day comes along that can redraw the entire map. And that is exactly what just happened at the India AI Impact Summit in New Delhi. This was one of those days that might have just shifted the entire future of artificial intelligence. It was a moment where the ambition was so high and the stakes so enormous you could literally feel the tectonic plates of technology and geopolitics shifting in real time. And yeah, that feeling was captured perfectly by the folks on the ground. This wasn't just about showing off some new gadgets or signing a few deals. Nope, this was a clear, coordinated declaration. India formally told the world that it plans to be a leader, not just a consumer or a follower, in the AI revolution. It was a massive strategic play to pivot the entire global conversation away from the usual poles of Silicon Valley and China and pull it toward a brand new center of gravity.
So how are they going to do it? I mean, that's the big question, right? Well, at the very heart of this whole thing was a new philosophy, a really comprehensive framework that India offered not just for itself, but as a potential model for the rest of the world. They called it the MANAV Vision. Let's really dig into what that actually means, because it's the key to understanding this entire shift.
Okay, so the first clue to what this is all about is in the name itself. Manav literally means human in Hindi. And that choice, it is incredibly deliberate. See, in a world that's often dominated by either a pure profit motive or hardcore state control, this signals a distinctly human-first approach. It's a direct challenge to all those fears about AI taking over or dehumanizing our world. India is basically positioning this not just as a tech standard, but as a moral guide for how technology should serve us, especially for other developing nations looking for a third way.
And this isn't just a catchy name. It's an acronym that lays out the whole strategy. You've got M for moral and ethical systems, baking human values right into the code. A for accountable governance, which means clear rules and a human in the loop. N for national sovereignty, and this is a huge one, saying a nation's data belongs to its people. A for accessible and inclusive, making sure AI creates opportunities for everyone, not just a select few. And finally, V for valid and legitimate, ensuring these systems are lawful, strong, and trustworthy. Altogether, it's a powerful blueprint for citizen-centric AI.
To really drive this idea home, Prime Minister Modi used this fantastic analogy. And think about it, it's perfect. GPS is an incredibly powerful tool. It guides us, gives us options, shows us real-time data. But at the end of the day, you are the one driving the car. You make the final decision to turn left, turn right, or to stop altogether. That's the core idea of MANAV. It's about building AI that empowers our judgment, not replaces our autonomy. It's a tool, not the master.
But look, a vision, no matter how brilliant, is just words if you don't have the resources to back it up. And this is where the summit completely shifted gears, from philosophy to cold, hard cash. India didn't just present a blueprint. It backed it up with so much capital that the entire world had to sit up and pay attention. This was the moment that talk turned into very, very real action.
So, right after the government laid out this grand vision, one of the country's biggest industrial giants, Reliance Industries, stepped up to the podium. And what they announced next was, well, it was just staggering. 10 trillion rupees. Let that sink in for a second. That's over 120 billion US dollars from a single company. And this wasn't just framed as some corporate investment. They called it nation-building capital. The goal is absolutely immense, to provide the raw financial power to transition India from the internet era into a new intelligence era, where AI is just part of the basic fabric of society. And it wasn't just Reliance. Another one of India's legacy giants, the Tata Group, announced a major partnership with OpenAI. That's a huge move, pairing Silicon Valley's cutting-edge models with Tata's incredible reach all across India. And when you add in the earlier commitments from other heavyweights like Adani and Microsoft, the total capital pledged at the summit climbed past a jaw-dropping $200 billion. The point is, the Indian private sector is all in, aligning its massive resources with this national mission.
Okay, so you've got this clear vision. You've got massive amounts of capital on the table. The focus naturally shifts to the international stage. How would the rest of the world react to India making such a bold play? Were they just listening politely, or were they actually buying what India was selling?
Well, the endorsement from France was particularly strong. President Macron didn't just offer some polite praise. He pointed to India's existing digital public infrastructure, things like their universal payment and identity systems, as a proven success story the whole world could learn from. That track record gives the MANAV Vision a ton of credibility.
And this wasn't just talk. The visit ended with the India-France relationship being officially upgraded to a special partnership, with AI and digital cooperation right at the very core of it.
And this all led to a much bigger conversation. Google CEO Sundar Pichai raised a really valid concern about a new AI divide separating the world into haves and have-nots. But what's so fascinating is that India's MANAV Vision was basically presented as a direct answer to that exact problem. So while a tech leader from the West was identifying the challenge, India was proactively on stage offering a solution, a framework specifically designed to be a multiplier of opportunity, not a tool of monopoly. It was a clear move to become a champion for the global South.
Of course, no summit this big happens without its own little subplots and back-channel chatter. Amidst all the grand announcements, there were a couple of dramas playing out behind the scenes that, well, they added a bit of real-world texture to the whole thing. First off, the highly anticipated keynote from Bill Gates was canceled at the very last minute, which obviously sparked a ton of media speculation. And second, there was this whole RoboDog affair, where a university's supposed homegrown innovation was exposed as just an off-the-shelf Chinese robot, which led to their stall getting publicly shut down. Look, they were minor distractions, but these moments just underscored the intense scrutiny and the incredibly high stakes of the whole event. Everyone was watching, and authenticity was at a premium.
So, let's strip away the drama and get down to it. What's the big takeaway here? When all is said and done, what did this one single day in New Delhi truly change about where AI is heading globally? I think this quote really says it best. For years, the narrative has always been about whether other countries could catch up to the AI train being driven by the US and China. Well, the message from this summit was completely different. India basically declared it's not just trying to get a seat on the train anymore, it is now in the business of laying brand new tracks, setting new ethical standards, defining new governance models, and helping to decide the direction the entire industry is going to travel.
And the result is that the global map of AI has genuinely been redrawn. When future historians talk about the key moments that shaped AI governance, they'll talk about the landmark summits at Bletchley Park, Seoul, and Paris. And after this day, New Delhi has unequivocally earned its place on that list. It's become an indispensable voice in shaping our collective technological future.
So here's where we're left. India has put its cards on the table, a human-centric vision backed by an unbelievable amount of capital and offered as a model for the entire world. It's bold, it's principled, and it's incredibly ambitious. And it leaves all of us with one final crucial question. Now that these new tracks have been laid, will the rest of the world actually choose to follow this path?